Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Kev from the gym. Please like the video on the way in. Trying to keep the videos consistent, trying to boost the channel. Right, today's a quick video, a bit of a preview on the Liam Cameron versus Ben Whittaker fight. It's a rematch which is happening next week, April 20th, up in Birmingham. This is a fight I'm really excited for. Of course, it's a rematch. It's now become somewhat of a grudge match, and there is a bit of needle and a rivalry there now, which always makes things a little bit more interesting. Prior to the first fight, I think everyone assumed it was going to be an easy walk in the park for Ben Whittaker. He's clearly the more skilled boxer, obviously an Olympian, great amateur pedigree, naturally talented and gifted. And I think everyone just assumed it'd be an easy win for him. Now, Liam Cameron is a very tough boxer. He's had his own trials and tribulations in the pro game, where he served quite a lengthy suspension, in my opinion, for something that didn't warrant that length of suspension. So he has had a bit of a tough time. He's moved up from super middleweight to light heavyweight, where he's competing now. He had a close fight against Lyndon Arthur, which he lost on a close decision, but it was a decent performance from him. And I think that helped get him back in the mix amongst the domestic names in the light heavyweight division. But nonetheless, prior to the first fight, I think we all expected Ben Whittaker to walk through him and basically just outbox him, make it quite easy. What did Ben Whittaker do? Well, he decided to stand there and trade, held his feet way too long. He wasn't his normal elusive self where he's boxing on the back foot, where he's doing his showboating, where he's slipping and sliding. He decided to sort of hold his feet and basically have a bit of a tear up, have a bit of a fight with Liam Cameron. And one thing about Liam is that he's very tough. And if you're going to give him an opportunity like that and basically fight to his strengths, it's going to be a hard night for you. And Liam Cameron, in fairness, he's got a good pedigree himself. You know, he was a very good amateur. I believe he actually won the ABAs at one stage. So he has got a pretty good background. But again, professional boxing is not the same as amateur boxing. So although Ben Whittaker was touted as a favorite because of all his accomplishments in the amateurs and sort of the flashiness that we saw in glimpses as a professional, the professional game is very different. And Liam Cameron obviously has a very professional style. He's fit, he's durable, he's rugged, and he's more experienced over longer rounds. Now, I remember seeing Ben Whittaker box a couple of times in the amateurs. This is prior to him being on Team GB officially and prior to the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. But just on the national level, on the amateur circuit, I remember him boxing Zach Chelly quite a few times. I think they had 3 fights. Zach Chelly, I believe, won 2. And Ben Whittaker won 1. And I saw 2 of those bouts. I remember saying to myself back then when I saw Ben Whittaker in the amateurs, I remember saying, this guy is special. Purely just on the eye test, just me seeing him, seeing how he was boxing, I just thought to myself, this guy is special. Now, I've been an amateur coach for a good couple of years now, but as a professional coach, I am still quite new to the game. So I do have a few good professional trainers that I speak to quite regularly that are kind of mentors to me, that I seek advice from. Tunde Ajayi being one, CJ Hussein, of course, and Rob McCracken at Team GB, who I speak to here and there as well. I'll see if I can find a picture of when I was last with Rob McCracken up at Team GB. Yeah, I think I can just have a look on my Instagram. Please follow me if you are on Instagram. It's Kev from the gym. Let's have a look. Yeah, so here's me and Rob McCracken up north a little while ago. But Rob McCracken, always a great guy, so down to earth, so humble, knows he's boxing. Any sort of advice that I need, any questions that I have, he's just a great guy, a bit of a mentor. And as I say, he just helps me out here and there. And I remember just sitting and chatting to him, you know, discussing boxing as you do. And I said to him, Rob, in my opinion, from the eye test, from what I see, there is something really special about Ben Whittaker. This was before he even had his pro debut. I think he just finished the Olympics. And I said to him, I said, Rob, I don't know what it is, but is he as good as I think he is? You know, just based on what I've seen here and there. Obviously, you've been around him. Is he as good as I think he is? Is he a superstar? Rob said to me unequivocally, he said, Kev, of all the boxers I've ever trained, amateur, professional, whatever, Ben Whittaker is the most talented boxer I've ever seen in my life. That's what he said to me. He said, Kev, without question, it's not even close. He's the most talented boxer, naturally gifted boxer I've ever seen in my life. That's what he said. Now, of course, the amateur game is not the professional game. It doesn't always translate. We've seen some very good amateur boxers go through the England squad and Team GB, and it doesn't always translate to a great professional career. I'm not going to name any names because we don't need to do that. But I truly believe that Ben Whittaker is special and he can show how special he is. In my opinion, he just has to box to his natural style. Not everyone's going to like it. Some people are going to be put off by it. Some people are going to think it's arrogant. But in my opinion, when he's boxing his natural style, when he's being reactive, being elusive, he's got his hands down, he's showboating. Yes, it's a bit dangerous. But to me, boxers like that, you've just got to box your natural way. That's the way you're going to have the most success because it's instinctive. You can't teach it. A bit like Nassim Hamed. You know, there's been a lot of fighters like that. Pernell Whittaker. There's a lot of fighters like that where you don't want to control them too much. You kind of just want to say, look, this is your style. We're going to work with it, but just enjoy it and do what you do. And 9 times out of 10, because you're so naturally gifted and talented, you're going to be successful. And in my opinion, in the rematch, that's what he's got to do. Don't worry about planting your feet and going to war with Liam Cameron and giving him a bit of a chance. Just box from the outside, make him miss, make him pay, throw your single shots, pot shot, move, slip, roll, dance, do whatever you got to do and just, have fun with it. And if he does that, in my opinion, I think he's going to win quite comfortably on points. Now, there was an interesting video uploaded by a boxer, sort of like the head-to-head round table kind of videos where they do. You've got Ben Whittaker talking with Liam Cameron and they're sort of going back and forth with a mediator in the middle. And I do think that those kind of face-to-face style videos, whatever you call it, oftentimes there's not a lot you can take from it. But I do just want to play a little bit of Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron's face-to-face, only because I do think there are some interesting points we can pick out of it. So let's just have a quick listen. Right, guys, so this is the clip. This is the upload that boxer I've put up. Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron, back-to-back, basically like a round table. I'm going to play the audio, but we don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm just going to hide the footage. But there's some interesting points that we can pick out that I think it's worth talking about. So let's check this out.
Was the injury real?
Of course it was real. I got the doctor's notes, but we're here now.
So the interviewer asked Ben Whittaker, was the injury real? Ben Whittaker says, yes, it was. I've got the doctor's notes, but we're here now. And this happens often, someone's got an injury, they pull out of a fight or, they're injured in the fight, whatever happens. There's a lot of controversy around it. They always get the doctor's notes. Obviously, they're going to have their medical records if there was a true injury, but they never share it and they never release it. And it's like, as the general public, it can be frustrating because we're looking at this like, is this injury real? Is it legitimate? Did it really happen? And all we ever get from the boxers is, well, I've got the doctor's notes. And we're like, well, share it then. Obviously, the board are not going to share anyone's medical records. No doctor's going to do that. It's a breach of confidentiality. But as a boxer, if you're truly injured and the public are questioning you and you just want to quash that controversy, share your records. Just share the scan, share whatever it is. Show, this is the injury that I had. We saw the same with Daniel Dubois the other day against Joseph Parker. He pulled out an illness, an infection that he had. He said, I've got the doctor's note. And of course, he's going to have the doctor's notes because whoever's pulled him out of the fight and the British board, whoever sort of suggested that he's got a legitimate illness, they're going to have proof of that. So Daniel Dubois or any boxer who's suffered an injury, they're going to have that proof. And it's like, share it with the public. If it's obviously redact whatever details you need to redact, but you can confirm to the public that you've had that injury. No one else has the responsibility to do that. No one else can do that. The board or any other medical professional, they're not going to be able to share your records. But I just think as a boxer, you've got a hand injury, you've got a neck injury, whatever the injury is, if there's controversy around it, just to quash that and just stop the noise, mate, just share it, share the scan, share the record or whatever. So that was interesting. Right, let's play on.
Once your gas tank's gone, it's gone. There's no getting it back.
What do you say to the fans and to Liam, who say you took the easy way out?
I say, you can all say what you want to say. You know what I mean? But when I win, just keep the energy in.
That's annoying. So the interviewer asked him, what do you make of the people who say that the injury is fake and you wasn't really injured and whatever? And he says, well, you can say what you like. When I win, keep the same energy. And it's like, mate, most of us think you're going to win the rematch. And I think the injury is legit, to be honest. I could easily conceive that he would be injured following that fall. I don't think you can really question that. But nonetheless, he would have proof of that. So just share it. It's not that deep. But yeah. Right, we're going to move on to one part of this interview that I found really interesting. And it's Liam Cameron talking about his ambitions in boxing. And I just think that might be quite pivotal to a fight like this. Right, so it's coming up here. Let's hear what he says about his ambitions in boxing.
It's not about Ben Whittaker. I'm not buzzing about him or anything. All I want is to get my house out of boxing. That's it. He's just an object to me.
Right, so I found that interesting, and most people might not pick up on that. They might not think anything of it. He said, all I want is to get my house out of boxing. I don't really care about Ben Whittaker. And I completely understand that kind of mindset. You know, you come from nothing, you've had a struggle, you've had a stop-start career, you want to get something tangible out of it. And for him, that's his house. He's basically saying, look, I want to make enough money that I can buy my house out of boxing. And that's all I care about. And I get it. I get that mindset. You know, everyone goes to work, whatever it is, and you hope to be able to provide, put a roof over your head, be mortgage free. I get it completely. But if that's your only ambition, do you care that much about actually winning the fight and progressing beyond that? You know, you're going to get paid either ways. You're going to get paid whether you win. You're going to get paid whether you lose. Obviously, he's done well since the first fight. He's now been signed to Frank Warren. He's done a lot of interviews. His profile's grown. So from a monetary point of view, his life would have improved somewhat. And after this fight, win, lose or draw, you're gonna get paid quite well, I would say. And then you're going to be very close, if not there or thereabouts, in terms of buying your house. So what happens if the fight is quite difficult? Or if the fight doesn't go the way you expect it, or if Ben Whittaker doesn't quit this time, or he's just completely frustrating you, boxing you from the outside. And I do believe Liam Cameron has that dog in him, as he says. I think we've seen it, in fairness. But if your ambition is just basically the paycheck so I can buy my house, are you going to care that much about the actual result of the fight? You know, and what you might be able to do beyond this one fight? I'm not so sure. So I think Ben Whittaker, interestingly, might be the one who wants it more, because obviously he's got a higher ceiling. I'm sure he's got a lot of ambitions, a lot of dreams that he wants to achieve, including being a world champion. So for him, you can't be losing or drawing to Liam Cameron. You've got to win, and you've got to win quite convincingly. And so I think he might be looking at this more seriously than Liam Cameron at this stage. So I just thought that comment was quite interesting. And as a boxer, as a coach, as an analyst, that's something that I would be picking up on if I was involved in this fight in any way. Right, so how does Ben Whittaker win this fight? Well, in my opinion, he boxes from the outside, he frustrates, he slips, he slides, he moves, he showboats, he does his normal Ben Whittaker stuff. And in my opinion, he wins quite comfortably. I'm going to show you a clip of Ben Whittaker sparring Felix Cash. This is how Ben Whittaker beats Liam Cameron. Just like this spar against Felix Cash. Just box from the outside, frustrate him, pot shot, do your showboating, be reactive, be elusive, and just be your natural instinctive self. This was a great spar. Felix Cash, top amateur, a very good professional. I know he lost his last fight against Tyler Denny, but he's had some pretty decent wins. I remember when he beat Denzel Bentley quite convincingly. I know there's controversy around Felix Cash and his gym and what have you. We won't go into that in this video, but this is how Ben Whittaker, in my opinion, has to box Liam Cameron. Just do your regular self. Just be instinctive. Hit him with flurries, combinations, fast hands. Keep your feet moving, lateral movement, left and right, and just frustrate the hell out of him. And then you win very comfortably, in my opinion. Comfortable decision victory for Ben Whittaker. I'm not so sure that he can stop Liam Cameron unless Liam Cameron's, doesn't want to be in there, like mentally, if he's just getting pot shotted and frustrated all night and he has a sort of mental lapse and maybe the corner throws a towel and something like that. But I can't see him being properly hurt or being properly KO'd or anything like that. I think at most it's, maybe he's frustrated for 12 rounds or 10 rounds, however long the fight is, and maybe the towel comes in towards the end. But safe bet, I think, is Ben Whittaker quite comfortably on a points decision victory. Right, so that's my prediction. But please like the video, drop a comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this fight. Who you think is going to win? How do you think it's going to play out? Please subscribe if you haven't done. Please also share the video if you think it will be useful to someone. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, guys. I know that sounds ridiculous. People are probably laughing at me for saying that. But look, I don't care. You know, it's a new channel. We've just started. We're going to try and keep it consistent. And any goal that we can hit, we're going to try and reach it, you know, one step at a time, whatever. So yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's push the channel. Let's boost the content, try and get in the algorithm. But as always, if you've liked the video, please like the video, and we'll leave it there. Kev from the gym. Peace.